Hey everyone, what's good? Welcome to this live stream. Today, I'll be having a flow talks with you all about your energy, specifically energy channels, and how to keep them clear or unblocked. And that can lead to how you grow from the inside, not grow, but glow from the inside out. Grow too, because when you glow, you grow. You I feel like when you're glowing, right, from the inside out, that's a sign that you're growing from the inside out as well, spiritually. So I came up with this topic because, there was somebody that commented on a post that I put here on YouTube a while ago, and they asked for like a skincare thing, like a skincare routine. And I was thinking to myself, I only use like 3 products on my skin: uh, rose water. I did use aloe vera gel, but I don't use it anymore. And then also this soap that I use on my entire body. And it is like this brightening soap or whatever. Hi, Justin, 3 million streams. I think that's how you say it. Um, yeah, so somebody asked me like for a skincare routine. And I was like, I use 3 products, but the essence was it's I think my skin is bright because I learned how to glow from the inside out. And sometimes you can just tell how a person's feeling, um, or how they are feeling on the inside by the way they glow on the outside. It's not like a skincare routine, or it's not like anything you put on top of your physical body. It's what's inside of your body spiritually that like radiates out physically. So that's why I had the idea to do like, how do you glow from inside out? Because it's a glow that's like a, not happiness but joy, and not only the emotion that you feel, but it's what you're feeding your body really. So everything in this talk is going to be about what you're exposed to, because everything you're exposed to kind of compromises your ability to have good energy. And I have my notes here, so I'm looking down, reading what I put. I didn't really prepare for this one as much as I do other videos, because I usually have like a crap ton of notes, did research, I got sources, 12.4 font, Times New Roman, double space, all that. I didn't really do that for this one, so whatever I'm going to say is just going to come off the top of my head. So, what are energy channels? And according to this article that I found on the website, your energy channels, they can also be referred to as nadis or meridians, depending on the origin of the language that you're using, right? Um, it comes from traditional Chinese medicine, and it's a system of channels through which vital energy or qi flows through. So your channels are a system in your body. It's not physical. It's not really seen by the human eye, because you can't really, I guess, dissect the human body and see, oh, these are the channels. However, your energy channels are kind of spiritual, but they relate to your body anatomically. As somebody who like knows about science and the anatomy of the body, I love science, but it's so clear to me how science and spirituality correlate when you look at how things such as channels that you're talking about in your body, spiritually, or vibrations that you're talking about, or any type of energy that directly correlates to something in the body anatomically, like a real thing, a physical thing that we can see if we dissect the body. Thanks for your comment. I appreciate it. We are the same stage. Also love to see you, and great contents. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you all who comment. on my videos, every single comment. I try to read every single like comment that I get and reply, but sometimes I don't be getting all the notifications. So, all right. What was I saying about channels? Well, it's believed that in a 2010 study that if energy called chi is blocked from flowing through your channels, it could lead to disease. How do I explain this? Oh yeah, I was talking about how the spirituality of channels, meridians, things like that correlate to our physical body, because when you look at channels, it's really talking about all the things that flow through your body regularly. So when you talk about things that flow, things that are going in a cycle, what is that? Like blood. Blood flows through your body. It's always being pumped by the heart. What else? Breath. Breath flows through the body. It's always being circulated. And breath is something that cleanses our body. We breathe in. It's like a whole cycle. The air we breathe in has first been recycled by the trees, and the trees kind of breathe the air into the atmosphere, and then we breathe that air in, and then it comes out as something different, because once it goes through our body, it goes through like this type of process where it comes out as carbon dioxide. So our breath is one of the most prevalent cycles. So our channels really refer to the cycles that our body has in order to keep our body cleansed on the inside and to keep living and breathing, pumping blood and healing itself. So the body really heals itself. And if we look closely, every time, for example, every time we get a scratch, or I remember when when I was a child and I used to ride my bike throughout the neighborhood and I used to scrape my knees. I was always scraping my knees. Comment in the comment section if you was always like scraping your knees as a child, falling off your bike or whatever. Um, climbing trees and stuff. I remember when I would scrape my knees, I would always get that stuff in the brown bottle. What was it? It wasn't alcohol. It was probably peroxide. And man, it would sting. My mom's pours it all over my scraped up knee. That's gonna burn. But apparently, all I knew about it was supposed to help heal, or it was supposed to help cleanse your wounds, right? So, and then what happens after you have a wound or a scrape? Your skin starts repairing itself. It starts to heal without you really doing much. But we have things like peroxide, we have things like Band-Aids, Neosporin, etc. Kind of like man-made things to speed up that healing process. But in essence, the body really heals itself. Keeping our energy channels clear by really being aware of everything that helps cleanse our body, like our breath, our blood, things that we eat, and all the other things that I'm going to talk about today, they help our body create this natural process of healing over and over and over, because it's a cycle. If we get hurt and then our body starts to heal, our body notices that we're hurt, it starts to heal, and then over and over and over again. So the theme is kind of like, this is a cycle, and it reminds me of the cycle of life, which maybe I won't get into because that goes into like a whole other tangent. Reading the comment. Falling, climbing trees, falling off my bike. Them trees was fun. Tree climbing was so fun. We love a good tree. But yeah, intentional breath work is really good. I'm gonna get into that too. So, so next I'm gonna break down the word disease, because once I heard about the word disease, because when we hear disease, my connotation is that it's like when you're really sick, you have a disease. When you're diseased, you're contagious. But when we break down the word dis-ease, which is the state of our body when we're hurt, we're injured, or we're sick on the inside, or our channels are blocked, that's really what this is. The word disease breaks down into like two words, dis and ease. So dis is like the prefix, it means not, and then ease means to be easy. Dis-ease is just whenever your body is not easy. It's whenever your body is not at its natural state. So anything that throws your body off, like even the slightest thing, is dis-ease because of disease. I just want to take a moment to let that sink in, because when I realized that, I was like, what? But so disease is what happens when our channels are blocked through maybe like we have a clogged artery, and it prevents blood from flowing through our body. It prevents our channels from being everything flowing. Or if we have a restriction to, like, for example, in the capillaries, which is the part in our, is it in our veins or arteries? I just graduated in May. Okay, but anyways, it's somewhere in our bodies that that our air goes through. And so when our air changes from like oxygen to carbon dioxide and we breathe that out, the capillaries is what the air in our body has to go through in order to process it. So there may be a block in our capillaries. All of these are examples of channels. So then you see how science directly correlates to spirituality. What somebody might call vibrations or frequencies, others may call homeostasis. Vibrations deals with like spirituality and consciousness and all that. And then, but homeostasis is like more of a scientific term, but a lot of them just mean the same thing. All right. The same 2010 study shows that channels may correspond to peripheral and central nervous systems, which the central nervous system is our brain and our spinal cord. If you've ever heard of Kundalini energy while you're meditating, it's when it can be described by having like a profound experience while meditating, and the Kundalini energy always, you feel it in your spine, and it like goes up your spine. So our brain and our spinal cord make up our central nervous system, and our brain controls like everything we do. So that's something large. And so it's believed that channels your energy, right? Everything that's like on the inside can manifest physically. So how I was talking about before in the beginning of the video, how when someone asked me about like my skincare routine, and it brought my awareness to the things that I do to practice keeping the inside of me clear, I just realized that everything that's on the inside of us manifests itself physically. So that's why when you can kind of tell when somebody's not feeling their best, or when they're feeling sad, or they're feeling angry, or however they're feeling, because emotions are kind of like spiritual and it's an energy. So it's not just a physical thing. You feel it and you can see it on the outside of their body. Just like when you don't drink enough water, you probably see that your skin is dehydrated. So everything on the inside manifests itself physically. Let's see. So the first way that I realized we can protect our energy, or or keep our energy channels clear is everything that goes through our five senses. Let's see if I can remember them. Sight, smell, taste, hearing, and touch. Everything that goes through our five senses can affect us internally And therefore, like what's internal is a reflection of external things. For example, in my last live stream, I went in on, wait, was that my last live stream? That was actually in the live stream before last when I talked about how the media can affect our internal world. Like everything that goes in our ears, what we listen to, and then everything that goes through our eyes, excuse me, that we consume affects us on the inside. Because number one, eyes are the windows to the soul. And that goes both ways. Not just what goes in, but what comes out. Or not just like what goes in, but what you watch. They both affect you. And then also what goes in your ears, the music you listen to, the things that people are saying that you allow yourself to repeat in your mind, that affects your energy because then it can make you feel away. And emotions definitely are energetic. What other senses are there? Taste, whatever goes, or not really taste, but like whatever goes in your mouth, whatever you eat, it can affect your energy. There are so many foods that are known as high vibrational foods, like grains, beans, what else? And also food that you like to eat, just food that tastes good. What's the other senses? And then there's sight, hearing, taste, smell. I guess that one kind of like affects. I never realized how smell affects your energy. But I guess it can, because if you breathe in gas, that's like inhaling. So you're breathing in air. So maybe not smell as much as what you breathe in or consume through your nose. Because smell allows us to breathe air. So there you go. And then the last one is touch. Yeah. So everything that goes through the five senses can affect you. And I would go a little bit deeper into it. But pretty much the larger ones are sight and hearing. And now somebody's playing music in my house. Oh, that just threw me off. Oh, sight and smell. This might be a short one today because I think I'm kind of out of it. But remember how y'all were talking about in my last live stream that my house is quiet? It's not quiet tonight. Let's see. So sight. Okay, let's go a little bit deeper into that, right? Eyes are the windows to the soul. So the things that we watch kind of have subliminal messages in them and like hidden things. So I was watching, should I tell this? I finished watching an anime called Attack on Titan. And I know that one's kind of old, like I'm kind of late on it. But I just finished watching it. And I was watching it on Netflix. And so of course, because it was on Netflix, the episodes were already pre-recorded from whatever channel Attack on Titan was originally playing off of. And I think it was Adult Swim. So they would show the commercials before the actual Attack on Titan episode started. And they were just trippy. And like, a lot of us don't notice the subliminal things that, like subliminal hidden messages that are in things because they're so short. And there's sometimes a thin line in between like creepy stuff and stuff that's like, okay, that's kind of scary. But a combination of the things that we see and then the things that we hear, such as different pitches, different sounds, and the music that we listen to, because when I started becoming more conscious of the music that be out here, I just deleted a lot of stuff off of my playlist. So that's an example of the sight and the hearing. Okay. So that's the first thing. The thing that all the things that go through your five senses affect your energy. And so being more aware of those things is really how you protect your energy and your energy channels through that. It goes into your body, and then whatever is inside of your body affects the outward body. So yeah. And then I guess I'll talk about mindful breathing. So discovering mindful breathing was so healing because breath literally is healing. Anything that goes inside of our body, anything that our body demands in order to live, when you add more of that, it's healing. So so when I was first talking about how the body heals itself, um I realize I'm saying a lot, and so just stop saying that. Whatever our body uses to heal, when we intake that and we get more of it, we're speeding up the healing process of our body. Our blood needs oxygen in order to flow through our veins. When we breathe more air in, we're helping our blood pump through our body. And that's how breathing and doing breath work and being more conscious of your breath on the everyday basis can not only help when you're having panic attacks and you don't know how to speed up or slow down your breath because it feels like you're not in control of your breath. Not only will it help with that, but it'll also help with when you maybe have breathing problems like chronic emphysema, COPD, things of that nature. Let's read these comments. Ooh, lo-fi and hertz frequencies. There's actually science behind why lo-fi music really works. Mm-hmm. I love lo-fi. Mm-hmm. Yes, creating an alkaline state in our bodies. I should have done more research on that alkaline state because I know there's a lot of science on that. All I know about the alkaline state is it's a more homeostasis state for scientific terms, but it can help balance things in the body such as our pH, and it helps put our body at a more even level. I feel like I'm whispering today. I don't know why. But when you start becoming more conscious of the things that are going in your body, like, um, Serenity, you said music, and when you start becoming more conscious of that, you start like things, you don't have to read a lot of articles or read a lot of books, or people don't really have to tell you things about what is true and what's not. Because, first of all, there's a lot of different truths for everybody, and what works for everybody's body. What works for one person's body may not work for the next person's body. But also, I feel like a lot of this information is simply because it's more so spiritual information, it's from a higher level of thinking. And a lot of us have this like collective consciousness that once you realize certain things, it all just comes to you. Not maybe all at one time, but it's collective consciousness allows one person to get this information from really no source at all. I mean, it really is, the source is God, because things that you can't read in books or learn from a YouTube channel, it's kind of like wisdom that goes beyond knowledge. So that's oh, let me get back to my list. But also let me read these comments. Drinking more water actually heals so much stuff like acne or scalp problems for those of us who have dry scalp. Drinking water is so healing. And also, it is the type of water you are drinking. I realize that. I have a video coming up about it's a lock related video, but it's about what I realized about the water that comes out of the tap. And it's the same water that we wash our bodies with, right? However, I was reading this book called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And I was trying to remember the author's name, but I can't remember his name right now. But he was talking about how what happens when you shower, right? Is everything that goes on your skin, even though your skin is a barrier, it filters some of the things. How did he say it, man? It filters some of the things that go through the barrier. So in our water, in most tap water, they have to purify the water. And in that purification process, they sometimes put fluoride and chlorine in it to clean it. And that's sometimes what's in our tap water, chlorine and fluoride. And when we shower, the water plus the steam that's in the water allows those chemicals to get through our skin and into our bloodstream. And everything that goes past our skin barrier goes to our bloodstream. And so basically, I know a lot of people have water filters on their shower head, because you don't want to wash your body with that water or wash your hair with that water. And I was saying that in my video that I'm actually going to post next week, I think, that I realized for your hair, you want to use probably distilled water to wash your hair. Because other than that, the fluoride and chlorine makes our water hard. And that's why it's sometimes called hard water. And if you spray it on your hair, it'll make your hair hard because there's minerals in that water. So instead of hard water, it's recommended that you use distilled water. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Water is not always the solution sometimes. For acne, de- definitely not always the solution. I used to have really bad acne. Yeah, found other things. Okay, so mindful breath is one. I don't think, did I finish that one? My mind is all over the place today. So breathing is really healing because our body requires breath to live. Period. And another thing is being physically active. Movement is medicine. So a while ago, I was having a really bad pain in my knees. And before then, I used to work out all the time. But then I couldn't work out anymore because I was having really bad knee pains. So that's like a whole story, because that's when I started getting into meditation, because I couldn't be physically active. It forced me to sit down and watch my thoughts, watch my breathing. But also it got me into more light exercises like yoga. So yoga really is medicine because it's basically syncing up your breath and your body movement. And when you sync up your breath, your body movement, it's like you put them, I mean, that's what you do, you sync them. So yoga, you get a workout, but you also practice breath work. But you're also getting stronger. And it's something about practicing balance. And when you practice balance physically, it's also balancing your mind and your mental, because we have like the left brain and the right brain. And there's this breathing technique called alternate nostril pranayama or nadi shodhana. And you like alternate nostrils, breathe out of one and then breathe out of the other. And you do that so that both parts or both sides of your brain can be active at once. You'll notice that throughout the day, one nostril is always kind of more open than the other. You might notice it the most when you go to sleep at night. You'll notice that one nostril is always more open than the other. And that is because when your left nostril is more open, that means your right brain is more active. When your right nostril is more open, that means your left brain is more active. I need to do some research on which hemisphere of the brain does what. If you were like a neuroscience major or something like that, if you studied the brain or something, you might know. But in essence, breathing helps us balance the hemisphere of the brain. And then when you're practicing balance of the physical body, you practice balance of the mental space as well. You balance like both hemispheres. And then when both hemispheres are active, we can do a lot more things, right? Um, my dad's singing. So staying physically active, moving your body is so important because it not only generates these feeling good hormones, like what are they called? Oxytocin, serotonin. Serotonin is what we get from the sun, but those are all the good hormones that rush to us. We not only do that, but we practice strengthening our mind's capacity to be happy and balanced. So yeah. Hmm. Realizes how much strength you have within you mentally and physically. That's a word. That's a word. Yeah. I just realized something. This is kind of off topic. But you know when you had something that you wanted to say in your mind and then something else takes your mind off of that thing and you forget and your mind goes just the train falls off the tracks, right? I feel like what we want to say isn't always what we should say. So we often think that we have the right words to say. But I think that when your trains go off the tracks and you lose your train of thought, I think it's because you were planning on some uh, you were planning on saying something that you probably shouldn't have been saying. It's not that it was something bad, or it's not anything really. It's just that it wasn't the right thing to say at that time. So like it just went out of your mind. So your mind kind of protected you from saying something that wasn't either maybe like not going to be received well or whatever. Yeah, I think that. Okay, so mindful breathing, because breath is healing, helps your energy. And then staying physically active helps your energy because it helps your mood, helps you stay physically just fit, helps your body be happy, and it also helps balance your body and mind connection. Currently, I be working out. I actually work at LA Fitness, the gym. I sell memberships. So I get to have a free gym membership basically, and I've been working out a lot more and it's been it's been really helping, doing weights and everything. But I still do yoga as well. Another thing is stretching. So stretching is healing too, because you know how breathing is healing. So stretching allows more air to get into your muscles and into your joints. Man, flexibility is so important. Yeah. So true. Building emotional resilience. Yes. Emotional resiliency is so important. The things that come to you through your senses, I already said that. The people that you hang around, the people that you hang around, this is so important for your energy. So basically, your energy, I feel like your energy and the energy like around you is is to protect you. Wow. No, because we spend a lot of time talking about protecting our energy, but our energy protects us. And I'm gonna say why. Because when you've been doing a lot of work on the inside, maybe listening to your inner voice, been doing a lot of, I don't know, whatever you do to keep yourself up, mantras, meditation, all that, yoga, exercising, drinking water, whatever you do, praying, that builds our energy, right? And when other people see what we've when other people pick up our energy and the vibe that we carry, it protects us from outside things trying to compromise that. Because, for example, if you're insecure, and we're all insecure about something, right? But people can smell insecurities from a mile away. And insecurity is an energy, because there's also emotions that come with insecurity, and emotions are spiritual. There's like jealousy, there's envy, all that stuff comes with insecurity. That can be part of the energy that's on the outside of you. So, because energy, people can smell it from a mile away, people like to feed off of energy. So, if you have negative energy, anything, if you have negative energy, people feed off of that. Other negative people want to feed off of that. I mean, sometimes if you have positive energy, mostly other negative people like to feed off of that because they want some of the positivity. It can go both ways, but in essence, our energy does protect us, um, or it can have us be compromised on the inside, depending on whatever we're putting out, because humans are like magnets. The energy that we give off is the energy that we'll get back. And even if it seems like or feels like you are trying your best to put off good energy, and you get a lot of people who want to leech off of that, that's kind of part of like having good energy. So it's it's sometimes even more of a um, maybe struggle to build up. What am I trying to say? It's even more of a struggle to want to have good energy and give off that. I'm having a hard time getting my words out. You just want to give off that, so that you have more to for yourself and you preserve it, rather than giving it all away. I feel like I had more to say, but maybe I shouldn't have said it. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be saying it because things are just going out of my head left and right. I don't know. Looking at my notes. So basically, the there's this quote that says like the five people that you hang around, you can look at those five people and tell how you be rolling. And that is so true. Even if you don't believe it's true, it just ends up being manifest. I'll just say off of my own personal experiences. During the time that we had to stay in the house during the lockdown was when I felt the best energy around me. My family around me, my parents, the house that I grew up in taught me some good things, right? So it was in that environment, it was in a contained environment. It's just energies being contained, right? And so when you're around that energy all the time, it builds that confidence in you to have that energy and to carry it around with you no matter where you go. So I feel like sometimes we need seasons where we're just kind of alone and not around that many people, whether those people are going to have good energy or bad energy, negative energy or positive energy. There are seasons where we're going to have to really be by ourselves to focus on what are we putting off, what are we putting inside of our body, what are we watching, what are we listening, just what are we even doing in our life right now. We just need to listen. In one video a while ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago, I talked about listening more than we talk, specifically kind of being more aware, stepping back from how much we usually talk. Um, Maybe we have a lot of the urge to interrupt people in the middle of their sentences. We have a lot of urge to always have, for example, something playing in the background, always have some music playing, some TV, whatever. It's okay to just be in silence and listen, because sometimes the best teacher is like the inner teacher, our higher self. Because, oh, that's another thing. Emotions are mental, like joy, happiness, sadness, anger, frustration. Those are mental. Yes, they're energetic, but they're also mental. And sometimes we have to separate the mental from the spiritual because emotions can sometimes lie. You ever been in a situation where you thought it was something, but it was really something else, but your emotions told you that it was one thing when it was really another thing? And emotions cloud our judgment. They're mental. Sometimes our emotions are illogical. They're mental. So that's why we have to kind of separate the mental and spiritual sometimes, because the spiritual just like speaks over the mental and says, nah, you tripping for real. Just calm down, because you're being illogical, you're being irrational. Um, doesn't mean your feelings aren't valid, because emotions are emotions and we're human beings and emotions. However, the reason why it's very important to listen and to just cut off um, cut off all the stimulants, all the things that our senses are taking in, is because we need to listen more to our spiritual more than our mental. Because if we let our emotions take over all the time, then we'll just be living in this headspace of just like our ego self, and not our divine self, our higher self that speaks over this the mental part of ourself. I was talking about the people we hang around, and I just got to that tangent, but I think I needed to say that because, yeah, I was talking about spending time alone, and that's how I got into listening. Okay, let's bring it back. The people who you hang around, man, we have to be so aware of other people's energies. And here's one thing, we can't. So some of us might try our best to put our best foot forward and be kind to other people and give off, those good energies all the time. And our job is to create space for others to receive what we want to give off. For example, just like this channel, I made this channel to create some space for others for others to receive what I wanted to give, which is light, enjoyment, all that good stuff. You can't control how everybody receives what you have to deliver. Just because you give something off and because you try to be nice and kind and give off that good energy doesn't mean everybody is going to receive it in the way you want it to be delivered. So, where was I going with that? Mind is everywhere. So, just because our job is just to create that space. And with our energy channels and the vibe that we give off, we want to be really independent. And that was what's who was saying it? Emotional resiliency. I think it was Serenity. That you were saying emotional resiliency earlier on in the chat. Yeah, that's what we have. That's what we have when we create this space for others to experience us. And when it's not delivered on the other end how we wanted it to be received, that's why we have emotional resiliency, because we spend a lot more of our time just listening to our like higher self instead of listening to like the irrational emotional self. We spend a lot of time doing these other things, drinking our water, staying hydrated, being conscious of what goes in our body. Everything that goes in affects what comes out. Wow, that's a good one, because it's not really what's inside of you. Let's see, how do I want to say this? It's not really inside of you what affects you. It's how everything that's inside comes out. It's how everything inside manifests. Because only we know what's inside. It only shows when it comes out. So like what's coming out of us? What's around here, like the aura? When I say around here, I just imagine everybody has this this like glow. And it's kind of cool because one of my friends, they could see they could see people's auras. So she described it as seeing people in different colors. Like somebody is green, somebody's blue, somebody's purple. I believe maybe that's called synesthesia, in that manifests itself in different ways. Some people can hear sounds or pitches and they see certain colors. I had another friend that was like that. Because we were in choir together, and she could hear somebody sing a note, and then she could see a color for that note. And I had another friend who could actually see the color of somebody's aura, which is pretty cool. Um, Off topic, but humans have superpowers, most definitely. And I feel like from a young age, we have all of these interests and activities that we like to do. We just like to be super creative when we're younger. But then the more that we get told, no, don't this, no, don't do that, it takes away our creativity. And understandable because adults want to protect us. But it's not only the adults that tell us no, it's also other people's opinions of what we should do and society's imposition. Is that a word? Society's imposition on us of how we should live our life and what's acceptable. So we grow up kind of closeting certain parts of ourselves, and that just stumps our creativity. The more and more we grow up, the more we're heard, no, don't do that, do this. And we get further away from using said superpowers because every single human has them. And then we just, at one point, become so resistant to who we actually are that we're just living a life of resistance. And I feel like a lot of us are like that. We're just living a life of resistance. Let's read some of these. I read a poem a few weeks ago. Can you be alone with yourself and enjoy the company you keep? Silence is so full of answers. I read it from. So I'm not sure if you're asking this question, like, can you be alone with yourself and enjoy the company you keep, or is that the name of the poem? Because if it's a question, I can definitely answer it off of my own experience. The silence is so full of answers. That is so true. That's a good poem. Who's that poem by? Because I would be interested in reading more poems by the author. It's scary because when I'm alone with no sound, I never know if it's my ego talking or my higher self. Having music in the background numbs those voices in my head, I realize. I mean, no, that's real. That's really real. And I feel like that's why most people don't like silence. That I feel like that's why a lot of people don't like meditation, because there's a point, I guess, where you have voices that are telling you things, but you don't know where they're coming from. And I think I've realized in the past that we don't always need to understand everything when it happens, because we already don't understand everything when it happens. So and I understand why some people think that's important. Like, who are you hearing from? I understand why some people would think that's important, because you want to then know, okay, if it's coming from your higher self, then do that. But if it's coming from your ego self, then don't do that, right? However, this is what I have learned through my own lived experiences. Um, I'm waiting for the train to come back. It literally just left. Oh, we we don't always need to. Everything in life isn't meant to be understood. Everything in life isn't meant to like have a reason behind it. And if we understood every single reason or where everything is coming from or why everything manifested itself into what it is today, or which voices is which in our head, there would be no such reason for this thing called faith, which I love. Faith is the substance. What is it? Well, to me, it's like believing in something without any evidence that it's there. So faith is like everything spiritual, because everything spiritual can't be seen with the human eye. So therefore, everything spiritual, we don't really have evidence that it's there. So like everything spiritual is faith. And if we want to like an answer to everything or a reason behind why everything happens or explanation, it kind of takes the mystery out of everything, and then takes sometimes can take the faith behind it. So, but that's the thing, like you said, Killian on Damat. I'm sorry if I said that wrong, but like you mentioned, it's scary, and that's what it is. Like the unknown is scary sometimes. Totally understandable. Um, but I feel like when you listen, it just gives you all the answers. It just really gives you all the answers. And really, sometimes we can be scared of something that's already here. Let me give a good analogy. A lot of the times we're bracing ourselves to experience pain that we were already going through. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're just already everything that we could ever know or understand or experience, we're already in the midst of it, because that's what the spiritual realm is. So like get this visual. All around us there are things that we can't see. It's called the spiritual realm. There are 1,000 possibilities of things that could go on, but with our naked human eyes we can't see it, because it's in another realm, and it's kind of here but it's not here. It's not tangible, but it's already all around us. All around us there are things, spiritual forces protecting us, watching over us, but we can't see them with our human eye. So therefore, a lot of these things we don't know that they're there. We don't even pay attention to them on the everyday basis. In the same token, there's possibilities that we can't see, but they're already within our reach. We just have to like raise our awareness that they're there. So that's what I'm saying. Like a good example of it is like experiencing or wincing from pain that we've already experienced. It's kind of like dwelling on the past. I feel like I'm getting too like, what am I talking about right now? I'm trying to get back on the, because man, I hate when that happens. Okay, I just really lost the moment, but I hope that made sense. Sometimes when you just like go really deep into explaining, you just explain too much, and then what you just said just stops making sense. Does that happen to anybody? That just happened to me. What I just said doesn't make sense anymore. But I hope that whatever way you were supposed to receive that information, it got delivered in that way. Let's read. Why do you think it's so hard to just be yourself, and what's stopping us to be ourselves? Hmm. Well, it's hard to be ourselves because we listen a lot and we conform a lot. That's what living in this world is. It's like conforming. And not to make it sound like life is all about assimilation, but we do it to live. We conform to live. So it's difficult to be yourself because if you're conforming, it's kind of taken away from that. And also that we sometimes value other people's voices and opinions more than our own. In a nutshell. And also, we're, I think for some of us, we're partly afraid that what we have to offer is too great for what other people can handle. Actually, it's on one end of it's on either end of one spectrum. It's either we fear that we have a lot of power. Man, what's that saying? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Who is that? I feel like it may be Langston Hughes. I don't know. So it's either on that side of the spectrum, we just fear that like our light is too bright for others to even comprehend, or we feel like it's not good enough. It's either or. And both of those can stop us from sharing who we like really truly are. So yeah. But I want to close out this live stream because it's almost been an hour. So I was talking about like our energy and stuff and how we can protect it basically, but how we can, this is all about like glowing from the inside out. So all of these things that I mentioned before, it's simply being mindful of what goes inside of your body and then comes out. But there's one more thing I want to talk about, and it was being relaxed in your body. This kind of goes back to the whole stretching thing and meditation. And so I'm about to go a little bit scientific here, but your fight or flight state, what happens is that our fight or flight state was something that we developed early on in evolution. That if we needed to like run from a bear real fast, we could be like, oh, it's a bear, let me skedaddle. And our body goes into this mode where we're just like on go. So we go from 0 to 100 and our heart rate increases, our blood pumps, all that cortisol levels, which cortisol is a stress hormone that comes on us. And we adapted it. It's our primitive nature to trigger this fight or flight response. However, what's happened is that as we progress, right, we end up going into this fight or flight response a lot more than we need to, because we treat instances that just everyday instances, we start treating them like it's a bear. Traumatic events that happen that probably shouldn't be as traumatic as they are, our body triggers more cortisol, our body triggers a higher heart rate, a higher blood pressure, all that. And the level of intensity that our body responds to doesn't match. We don't need to protect ourselves from a situation, but the thing is, it's mental endangerment. It's no longer physical endangerment. And so sometimes our body, our mind can't tell between what's real and what's not, because everything that we create in our mind becomes real to us. That's why I think earlier in this live stream, I said that there are multiple truths and everybody's version of the truth is different. And that's why I like to validate people's experiences, because sometimes there's just no like right or wrong or like truth or false, because everything literally that we think inside of our minds to be real is real to us. So in that manner, everything that we imagine is happening to us, we're going to trigger that fight or flight response if we think it's traumatic. And that leads to less relaxation in the body, because our body is really stressed out. In our body, the responses in our body are a mirror image of what happens in our mind. So if our mind is really stressed, actually, stress is the fight or flight response, right? That's stress. But anxiety is the prolonged fight or flight response when it's not supposed to be as traumatic as it is. So you just keep overthinking, and those thoughts begin to circulate a lot more. That's anxiety. It's just prolonged stress. So it prevents our body from being relaxed. And then that affects our energy. So when our body is more relaxed and our mind is more relaxed, then we can be, it goes back to the beginning, the scientific, breathing more. Just breath is healing. Getting more blood pumping, having a lower blood pressure, because the more pressure it takes to pump blood throughout your body's working harder to pump that blood. But we don't want that. We want it to be a lot more easier. We want to create a flow state. This is why the channel is called Holistic Flow. But somebody commented, or like 2 or 3 people commented on some of my videos calling me Flo, but that's not my name. I mean, it's cool if you want to call me that, but my childhood nickname is Lolo, so that's my name. But it's realizing, in essence, like, I'm about to close this out because it's almost been an hour. It has been past an hour, but it's realizing that energy is created by a flow state. Energy inside of your body and the energy that you give off your aura, and what other people, even though other people's opinions don't matter, but it's the essence of what everybody else in the world can see, and protecting your energy and like glowing from the inside out is what is going in your body and what is going out, because whatever comes out and whatever glows is a reflection of what is glowing or what is not glowing on the inside. And when you glow, you grow. But so yeah, that's all. Yeah, my mind was all over the place in this live stream. I just hope it was somewhat easy to follow. I find that when there are more gaps of silence, people are less inclined to listen, because a lot of people just have shorter attention spans. And it's really because of media, because media allows us to get like TikTok and stuff, TikTok and Instagram and all that. The science behind it is it allows you to get more information, like information that you would get across a 20-minute TED Talk. It allows you to condense all of that information into a 60-second video. So you're getting more information in less time, which allows your brain to think that, oh, I need to get this quick. So I need to keep scrolling, and I need to. And then every time we double tap, like something, it releases more oxytocin in the brain. And because it's a pleasure hormone, because we think we're getting more information in less time, and we are, but this whole digital thing has allowed our attention spans to be so short. So I find that a lot of people just can't really focus when there's a lot of redirection and a lot of pauses in between. So if you stuck around for this whole live stream, I appreciate you. Through all of my mental capacity, every time the train just off the tracks, just But yeah, I'm about to end this live stream. Peace, y'all. And stay tuned for my video next Friday. Have a good night.